evening and welcome to the August 27th, 2025 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. This meeting is being held virtually via Zoom video conference and is also being broadcast by SCTV on cable channel 9. As meeting is being recorded by Zoom and broadcast by FCTV, please be cognizant of what you say, how you say it, and what can be seen and heard in your background. I believe we have 6 members present now.
Mr. Duffy just joined, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, okay. So we have a full complement of commissioners tonight. Thank you for all your dedication. I'd like to remind the commissioners that for commenting, I will call on each of you in turn. So please refrain from speaking over each other. Also, all votes are done by roll call. So when I call your name, please state your name and your vote for the record, even if you've made the motion or seconded it. To our public attendees, at any time during this meeting, you may enter any comment or questions via the chat function. At the appropriate time, they'll be read into the record. If an attendee would like to participate in a particular hearing, let us know via the chat function. Then at the appropriate time, you will be promoted into the hearing as a participant. When you are selected, you must have your video enabled and be succinct and respectful of others. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Regarding RDAs, under a request for determination of applicability, the applicant is asking the commission to determine if the provisions of the Mass Wetlands Regulation, Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, and or the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw apply to their proposed project. A negative determination is that provision of the act and or bylaw do not apply. Therefore, the project may proceed as proposed. A positive determination means the provision of the act and or bylaw do not in fact apply and or may require conditions. Therefore, the project will require a notice of intent application. As an applicant, you want to hear the negative determination. For the benefit of anyone waiting for a particular hearing tonight, so that you're not waiting unnecessarily, the following hearings are expected to be continued. 58 Westwood Road, 41 Mary Emanuel Way, 198 Associates Road. What else we got? 265 Thomas B. Landers Road.
Correct.
42 Chase Road. I think that's it.
32 Squibnocket, Mr. Chairman.
Well, 32 Squibnocket. I apologize. So those hearings are being continued and will not be heard tonight. So if you're here for that, you might want to hang around, but if you don't, we'll see you next time. All right. I have Jen, I had an email from the League of Women Voters on a member that's going to be monitoring us for the league. Did you receive that? Okay.
Excuse me?
I had it right in front of me, and I can't. You wouldn't happen to have her name just so we could welcome her and
hang on,
say
Mr.
hello.
Chairman. Hang on, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And they did. I don't know what he did with it.
All right, that's too much. Here I go. I've got it. So, and Lee Davis.
Lady Davis. So if you're with us tonight, I don't see her, but if you're with us tonight, welcome and thank you for participating. All right, we have an issue that we've got to go into executive session for. So it won't be very long, hopefully. So we're going to leave this meeting and go into executive session, and then we'll be out shortly. I'm going to call a roll to go into executive session. Courtney.
Bird eye.
Steve.
Pat and I.
Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie.
Holman, aye.
Dave.
Kent, aye.
Bill.
Duffy, aye.
Okay, we're going to executive session. I will be remaining here because of technical issues I'm having with my
I will see you all
Wi-Fi
there.
system. Next, we're back in a regular session, so we're going to go to vote minutes of April 22nd, 2025.
That's not on my agenda.
Whoops. Anyone?
Um,
I'll make a motion to accept the past minutes.
Okay, we got a motion by Ronnie to accept the minutes of the April 22nd meeting. Can I get a second?
Bird second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the April 22nd, 2025 minutes. I'm going to call a roll. What?
Bird eye.
Ronnie?
Holman, aye.
Dave?
Kent, aye.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
And Robbins, aye. So the minutes of April 22nd are accepted. How about August 13th, 2025?
I make a motion
I'll
to,
move to accept the minutes from the 15th.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of August 13th, 2025. We'll call a roll. Court?
Bird eye.
Ronnie?
Holman, aye.
Dave?
Kent, aye.
Billy?
Duffy, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. So we've accepted the August 13th, 2025 minutes. Okay, the next item here is a request for continuance under notice of intent. Robert and Kara Martin, trustees, 58 Westwood Road, LLC, 58 Westwood Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to conduct invasive species removal and install restoration plantings. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant is requesting a continuance until October 15th.
Bird so move.
Holman, second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept the continuance. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Hearing none, I'm going to call the roll. Courtney?
Bird eye.
Anyone else come back in? No. Ronnie?
Holman, aye.
Dave?
Kent, aye.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. So we've continued 58 Westwood Road until October 15th.
Mr. Chairman, I can see Steve's phone. Steve, can you unmute your phone, do you think? No. Gonna have to work with IT and find another way to do these executive sessions. Okay, Mr. Chairman, sorry about that.
Okay,
No.
I can talk, I just can't see.
Well,
Oh, okay.
all right.
Or you can't see me.
But we got you,
All right.
Steve, and that's what's
Oh,
important.
there you
There
are.
you go.
Home on my phone, though. I can't get it on my laptop.
Huh. Are you got Comcast?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've been having trouble, so.
It is quite honestly rather circuitous to get back in.
Yeah,
We're gonna try to work with IT and find a different way, Courtney.
Good.
okay, so we're just missing, who are we
Ron.
missing? Yeah, oh, Ron Driscoll.
Ron Driscoll.
Okay, so request for continuance of an enforcement order. John G. Butt and Mary Ellen Butt, 41 Mary Manuel Way, Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted construction of a deck, fence, removal of trees, and clearing vegetation within the conservation jurisdiction. Jen,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant, or in this case, the resident, has requested a continuance until November 12th.
Bird, so move.
Bowman second.
okay, we have a second. We have a motion and a second to continue till November 12th. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve, Patton.
He lipped aye.
Okay,
Bowman aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and Bill.
Duffy, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. That hearing is continued until November 12th. All right. The next one is at Westwood Road, which has already been. This is an enforcement order, so I got to read this one.
Yeah.
58 Westwood Road, LLC, care of Robert Martin, 58 Westwood Road, Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted construction of a shed, removal of vegetation within the buffer to a coastal bank and coastal dune. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're going to, although we continued the notice of intent out until October 15th, we are going to continue this out until January 7th to give us time to get through the notice of intent.
So
Thank you, Jen.
what is the motion we need?
To continue till January 7th.
Okay, so move.
Bowman second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to continue this enforcement order until January 7th. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Hearing none, I will call a roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Bowman aye.
Dave,
Dave,
Aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. So
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
you missed did you do 265 Thomas B. Landers? The
Continue to
first note of
10,
intent.
continue to 10:15, right? Oh, the RDA is.
No.
I don't. It's funny. I've got this is the
Agenda.
agenda I've got, and I don't have it. Where is
Okay.
it, Jen?
Oh, it might have been under request for a continuance under notice of intent. It would have been the first one, but you might have a different format than I do, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman. My apologies.
Okay, not a problem. Just one of those nights, Jen. That's all.
Oh, yeah. We'll get through it.
Okay. Request for determination of applicability. Alex Khan, 434 Seacoast Shores Boulevard, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to repair an existing seawall. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and a -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so move.
Bowman second.
So we have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendation. Comments or question by the commissioners? Anything in the public, Jen?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. I'm going to call a roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Patton aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
and Robbins is an aye.
And Mr. Driscoll is back in the meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. All right. Next for RDAs is Peter Picosa, 18 Ormond Drive, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to reconstruct an existing deck. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and a -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so move.
Bowman second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendations. Any other comments or questions by the commissioners? Anything in chat, Jen?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, we'll call a roll. What?
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, I.
Dave,
Bent, aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. Okay, so we voted to continue by the, not continue, to accept the staff's recommendation, sorry. Next is Timothy and Shannon Manoy, 55 Sassafras Lane, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to reconstruct a screened-in porch. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
Bird, so move.
Bowman second.
Motion by Courtney and a second by Ronnie to accept staff's recommendations. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Nothing in the chat, Jen?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'll call a roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, I.
Dave,
Bent, aye.
and Bill.
Duffy, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. It's unanimous to accept staff's recommendation. Okay, next is Peter and Diane George, trustees, 15 Nashawina Street Realty Trust, 15 Nashawina Street, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to construct 2 additions, reconstruct a porch, reconfigure a driveway, reconstruct a garage, and install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Alyssa.
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
Bird, so move.
Here
Bowman
we have
second.
a motion by Courtney and a second by Ronnie to accept staff's recommendations. Any other comments or questions by the commissioners? Anything in chat, Jen?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'll call a roll. Courtney,
Bird, so, sorry, Bird, Bird, aye. Sorry.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, I.
Dave,
Bent, aye.
Bill.
Duffy, aye.
All right. Next up is continued request for determination of applicability. Elizabeth Katz, 198 Associates Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to remove invasives and install a row of screening trees. Jen. Oops. Yeah.
This application's been withdrawn.
Oh, thank you, Alyssa.
No worries.
So we don't need to make any votes on that.
Nope.
All right. Request for a hearing under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. And the first one up this evening is Margaret C. Murray, Revocable Trust, 11 Bullock Street, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to renovate the existing home, convert part of the house into a screen porch, construct an addition, and install mitigation plantings. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have promoted Tim Santos from Merrill Engineering up to present his project. Good evening, Tim, and welcome back from vacation.
Thank you.
Tim, the floor is yours.
All right. For the record, Tim Santos from Merrill Engineers representing the applicant, and with your permission, I will share my screen. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Alrighty. So the property is located at 11 Bullock Street, adjacent to Bourne's Pond. The resource area is on or within 100 feet of the property of Bourne's Pond itself. Salt marsh associated with it, and the entire property is located in land subject to coastal storm flowage. Property is currently developed with an existing single-family home and attached garage, gravel driveway, lawn, and landscaped areas. The applicant recently purchased the property and is looking to do some renovations. So I'm switching over to the proposed plan. The applicant is working with an architect. They've prepared plans for renovations to the existing home. Part of the renovations are a conversion of this western portion of the house that's currently a sunroom, and they're going to convert it to a screen room. They're looking to relocate the step to the western side, and they're looking for this small addition 2 by 12.8 to the northern side of that screen porch. We have provided mitigation calculations for redevelopment. There's a 22 square foot increase within the buffer zone A. So 3-to-1 requires 66 square feet, and we're proposing 70 square feet in this hatched area right here, adjacent to the buffer. We are proposing a dry well for roof runoff for the new addition and the redeveloped portion of the house. It's pretty straightforward. Besides that, I will stop sharing, address any questions that you have. I have reviewed the staff report. I did get staff comments back in regard to these calculations of the 22 square feet. There's a small concrete pad being removed, so that's the difference in the square footage of what they came up with and what we came up with. And then they were looking to just some explanation on what renovations were actually taking place in the house. And there was also a comment in regard to a tree that was removed. It was in this area right here. When the applicants purchased the house, I believe it was the previous owner, it was dying or dead, and they took it down right before they purchased it. So the applicant is aware that there could be a condition in the order for a new tree to go back. So I will stop sharing and then address any concerns that you might have.
All right. Jen.
Tim, forgive me, I was reading something. Can you describe what's going to happen to the existing house again for me?
Yeah, it's basically just kind of renovations of siding, windows, roof, and then let me just share and I can explain. Hold on one second.
I know about the little additions, but you're not
Yeah,
doing any
so
sort of.
see this portion of the house here where my
Yep.
mouse is, that's
Right.
currently a sunroom, and they're
Yep.
looking to convert that to a screen porch.
Okay.
And then they would be expanding it by 2 feet to the north.
Yeah, I'm talking about the main house, Tim.
Yeah, the main house, again, it's interior renovations and then siding and windows.
Okay, no like additional.
There's no second floor additions to the main house.
Perfect. All right, great. Thank you, Tim. So
right.
we have the 22 square feet. You're going to do the tree for us, Tim. You described the renovations, and you have explained to your clients that.
I have explained to them that anything they do on this property needs your permission. Any hardscape, landscape, anything will be back before this board. I believe I did send in the email to you guys. They are working with an invasive specialist, so we'll probably be back in the next couple of months for an invasive vegetation management plan between the marsh and the lawn.
Yeah, I think our concern was like there didn't seem to be any outdoor living space, patios, decks, and anything off that sunroom would be moving closer. So it would have to be relocated elsewhere on the property.
Sure, not a problem.
All right, great. Thank you, Tim. I'm all set, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Steve, why don't you start us off with questions?
Alyssa.
No, it seems that they've resolved all the issues with the staff. My issues were whether or not the right of way had any impact on the property, but that's I have no other questions.
Thank you, Steve. Alyssa, I apologize. I left you out an hour.
It's okay. Just a quick comment, Tim. I see in Fallon's notes that it's a 22 square foot increase in the V zone. Can you note that somewhere on the plan that that's part of that V zone increase, just for future reference, if it isn't already?
I don't think it's noted. Typically, we don't note that, but I got no problem noting that. I'll figure out a place to put it. That's not a problem.
Thank
Okay,
you.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
we
just
can add
easy
it.
for like quick reference.
Yeah, we can add it to one of the environmental notes or something. Not a problem.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. Ron Driscoll.
Yeah, we have any problem with the drain pipe? I think it's from the neighbor's yard coming at the end of the driveway. I mean, we're in a drought, and that thing was still pumping water when I was there. I don't know what it has to do with this plan, but
Is that it to Lawrence?
Lawrence.
is that the wrong? I got the wrong street. Okay.
To
Nice.
Lawrence.
Well, I thought it was pretty close on this on the diagram. No, I have no problems with this one. Then no problem.
One of those nights, Ron. All right, Ronnie.
I think it's pretty straightforward. The place definitely needs some work. It's in tough shape, but the tree, would we want to put that closer to the water? Or is it going to go in that same spot? Maybe there's some trees down towards the water. Maybe better to put it there.
I can talk with staff, with Jen and Alyssa, and come up with a suitable spot for it. That's not a problem. I'll give them a call like on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Perfect. No more
Thank you,
questions.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
There it is.
Dave Kent.
Yeah, Tim, I may be a little still in the draw here, but I'm a little confused at how you got to 22 square feet in A, because I see a 2 by 5 foot proposed and a 2
Yeah,
by 4.8.
so there are redevelopment calculations. I think the exhibit's in the notice. If not, I can bring it up. But if you subtract off the step that's here and subtract off the concrete pad that's being removed there from the 2 by 5 and the 2 by 12.8, that's how we're coming up with the 22 square feet.
So there are a couple of things that are being removed as well.
Removed, correct,
Right,
correct.
And I wasn't sure what Alyssa was getting at too. Was there also a 22 square foot in zone B? I think I didn't quite understand that either.
No, so
Was
part
that
of the
mentioned a minute ago?
Yeah, so part of your regulations, Dave, is properties are allowed up to a 200 square foot increase for structures prior to the requirement that the entire structure is raised to velocity zone standards where houses are raised. So we allow minor additions for homes in velocity zones without having to raise everything up. So this is a 22 square foot, as Maura used to call it, bite of the apple of that allotted 200 square feet. So we like to have it written on a plan for easy access for staff. So when these permits compound one another, we're able to keep track of how many bites of that apple properties are chewing up over the years.
Thank you.
All set, Dave? Bill.
I have no comments at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Courtney.
The only comment I had, the septic system is pre-existing, correct?
That is correct. And obviously, there's no increase in flow. They're not,
Yeah.
the only renovation really is the screen porch kind of
Yeah, I
renovation.
just saw it was in the road layout. Is that?
Yeah, I'm assuming that there is a variance for it, but I'm assuming that when they did it, Mr. Bird, that was probably, it's a private road. They own rights to the center. The Board of Health granted them that variance, and this
Okay.
board granted them that approval because it was better to locate it there than closer to the wetland.
You've answered my question. No other questions. Thank you.
All right. Any comments or questions from the chat, Jen?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any other comments or questions by the commission? What's your pleasure? You want to close this?
I move to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Driscoll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Courtney to close and a second by Ron Driscoll to close the hearing. I'll call the roll. Courtney.
Bird, aye.
Steve.
Benton, aye.
Ron.
Driscoll aye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Dave.
Kent, aye.
Bill.
Duffy, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. So we've closed this hearing on 11 Bullock Street. All right, next up,
Thank you for your time. Have a great weekend, Jen and Alyssa. I will shoot you a quick little exhibit, and then we can discuss that location of the tree.
Thank you, Tim. Good
All
night.
right, have a good night. Bye.
Have a good night. All right, next up is Laura M. McSweeney and William J. McDonough, 2 Lawrence Street, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to construct a second story and install mitigation plantings, and for after the fact permission for the construction of a shed, elevated stone patio, and a rinse station. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have promoted Mike Borselli, Falmouth Engineering, to present his project. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Jen.
Hi,
Alyssa,
Mike.
Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. For the record, Mike Borselli, Falmouth Engineering, and I represent the applicant. I'm going to share my screen and review the plan with you. The property in question is number 2 Lawrence Street. It's at the very end of Lawrence Street and has, it's actually technically a corner lot because there's a paper road known as Little Bay Street, which isn't a street at all. It's a paper road. And then adjacent to Little Bay Street is Little Pond. The resources of note include coastal bank and land subject to coastal storm flowage. The applicant's proposing to do a renovation to the house that will be removal of the roof, construction of a second story, and then obviously new roof and other associated construction to finish off the second story. There's no plan to expand the footprint or any square footage within the velocity zone. I forgot to mention there's a flood boundary. It's shown in blue here. It's the boundary of VE 15 and AE 12. And then of course there's a 25-foot in parallel line that is the Falmouth wetlands regulation boundary for V zone. We show a limit of work on the property going out and around and a recently removed slate patio. More on that in a minute. We show the proposed mitigation planting in green. Now, the reason we're proposing mitigation planting is not because of the project currently before you, but because of some work that was done on the property in the past without the benefit of permits. Those elements include the construction of an elevated stone patio, the construction of a shed, the construction of this slate patio in a lawn area, and the construction of a stone landing. All of these things were picked up by aerial photography reconnaissance, near map reconnaissance by your staff. And we are asking for permission to allow some of these things to remain, namely the elevated stone patio, which I've highlighted, a portion of which is in the no disturbance zone A, and a portion is in the outer buffer zone B. We've done the calculation on the areas for those. The shed we're hoping to keep, and we've calculated the area of the shed in the outer buffer zone B. This stone landing we're proposing to remove. This slate patio has already been removed. Little Bay Street is a paper road, as I mentioned earlier. This commission or a predecessor commission to you approved this bulkhead to be constructed where there used to be an older wall. And the property is owned to the center line of Little Bay Street by the owner of lot 10A. So he sort of adopted this as his yard, and it's all lawn, and he did some things here that he shouldn't have done because he didn't have permission. This slate patio We're not asking for it to remain because it could never have been permitted. The elevated stone patio, while not permitted, could have been permitted. The shed, while not permitted, could have been permitted with the requisite mitigation. The rinse station, the same thing, all because they don't move closer to the wetlands than the closest part of the present primary structure, which is what your regulations say. So shame on the applicant for doing these things, but now we're facing the music and we're proposing the requisite mitigation to offset for those things that could have been approved. I did review the staff comments, all of which I think are fairly straightforward and I can be handled. Evidently to the south and west down in this location, then there's a salt marsh that we have to locate and show on the plan, and then show the 100-foot buffer to that salt marsh. We can certainly do that. We're cognizant of the fact that no mitigation can be within 10 feet of the structure. There's some items on the site that we didn't pick up the details of, including some stepping stones and some paver stones, some trash, where trash bins are stored. I can show those on the plan. And evidently there's a generator that we didn't pick up that, according to Eagle Eye Alyssa, it was probably installed between 2024 and 2025. So evidently that will need mitigation as well. So I can certainly do that. And a similar comment to your last hearing, the staff says that they think that the elevated stone patio should be considered as a structure and be allocated towards the 200 square feet increase allowed within a velocity zone. So that's certainly acceptable. And with that, I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Mike. Jen.
Yes, Mike, so you're gonna put the salt marsh on the plan. You're gonna be really pressed for room for mitigation at that 3-to-1, but see what you can do for us on that.
Yeah, I will.
Have you had so you're gonna take care and reorganize the mitigation from there? You've checked off all the only one you didn't address, Mike, was that structural engineer architectural confirming that dwelling can handle that second floor. Can you get something from an architect or engineer?
Well, yeah, Greg Ceruni and Rescom is the architect. They have structural engineers on staff. They certainly reviewed that, and that would certainly be reviewed by the building department. But
yeah, I know, but if you could just get us something, if they've already reviewed it, Mike, and it's in-house, that would be great.
I can have Rescom send you a letter.
Yep, that would be great. Just a quick letter. We do know the building department does that, but it has been a practice of this board to require that because there have been several instances over the years. In fact, the chair and I were talking about this afternoon about how we'll approve something and then next thing you know, it goes to the building department and then, a new foundation is needed. It's not structurally sound.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, the houses are cribbed up or taken down and we're not part of that conversation.
Sure.
It's happening.
I understand. Yep.
Yeah. And I do remember one specifically where we stopped the project because they were pouring a new foundation and it was delayed for several months. So we just kind of want to avoid that if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have an architect already working on it, a letter shouldn't be that much of a heavy lift.
Yep. Agreed.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. And I think you addressed everything else and you'll be looking at the plan and revising that. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Eagle Eye. Oh, I mean, Alyssa.
Just a note to the commission, the water that you saw appears to be a sump pump from the abutting property, and we'll handle that separately.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Alyssa. Ron Driscoll.
Yeah, that was my comment, was the sump pump from the neighboring property. So, but anyway, Mike, good luck with the mitigation on the southeast corner, because there's that oak tree and all the brush that's already there. It doesn't look like you're gonna have a lot of room, but good luck.
Thank you.
That's all, Mr. Chairman. I'm set.
All right, Ronnie.
Question, Mike, who owns that paper road? You know?
To the best of my well, I know that my applicant owns to the center line on his side. And there may be another owner of this from the center line to the pond.
I'm just saying, if they approved the rebuilding of the bulkhead, wouldn't we want the mitigation closer to that wall, closer to the water? Isn't that what we're trying to achieve? Go ahead.
Technically, yes, Ronnie, that's usually what we do, but in these paper road areas, we never know what's going to happen to those paper roads, so we do require the mitigation to be on the actual property itself. So that's why it looks like this.
Even if they have permission from the people that own that road?
Well, they have to the center line, and there's another entity that owns, because there's actually a parcel, correct me if I'm wrong, Alyssa, there's actually a parcel on the other side of that bulkhead. And they would need permission
water
from
side?
that. Yes,
It's underwater.
there's a parcel. It's underwater. There's a parcel there. So
Okay. I'm just seeing how it got approved to have the bulkhead done, the work done through conservation, and we're trying to get mitigation closer to the resource area of the water, that if that was ever an option. Maybe not in this case, but in the future. I'm just curious.
yep, no, something we can look into.
Just
And
picking up on that theme, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, when I check the salt
Yeah,
marsh
Mike.
issue, if I need, if there's some that affects the mitigation, I have other places, but I may be coming back with a plan that it drifts into the paper road on the side under the ownership of my client. I'm hoping that's something that can be approved as an amendment.
It's never been done in the past, Mike, but let's see what you can do on your
Let's see what I
parcel.
come up with, because I can
Yep.
remember 2 cases where we did it, and I don't want to belabor the point tonight, but I can go over that with you, Jen.
Yeah, that's fine if you want to shoot me over those 2 cases, because I know I have a couple in my head that you've worked on along this road as well. So we can bat that around, Mike.
Okay, appreciate it.
And the other thing Jen kind of addressed, I was kind of surprised about the letter from the engineer or the architect. And I felt that the building department would handle that, but you kind of answered that, but I think they would have done their due diligence. I mean, it's a solid foundation and you have a structural engineer on board. So you guys the staff wants to see that before we start. Okay, that's your policy?
That is the policy, Ronnie. And like I said, the commission's, we've had one project that was significantly delayed because they removed the foundation without this board's knowledge. I mean, nowadays it's a lot more collaborative and cohesive between all the departments. We have, electronic permits. They're easier to track than the old paper permits, but still it's just been a policy. We've had, old block foundations where we've told they can have second floors on, and next thing you know, we drive by and the whole house has been raised because the structural engineer has deemed the foundations insufficient, and they've gone to a raise and rebuild as opposed to just a second floor. We're just trying to
I
prevent
totally
that from happening.
understand. I totally understand what you're saying. It's just not the way I do business. I mean,
No, I understand.
do your homework first and make sure things fit. That's enough out of me. Thank you.
Well, not everybody is as thorough as you are, Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ronnie. Dave.
Yeah, Mike, the upper mitigation area, there's a pretty well-established garden there right now. So that garden, which is rhodius perennials, that's going to come out and be replaced.
It's all ornamentals, yeah. We're gonna have to take out the perennial ornamentals and put in natives to satisfy the requirements.
I was just clarifying that. That's kind of a shame, but
Yeah,
but that is what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna work with your staff and see what I can come up with after we do a little more calculation on and locate that salt marsh.
My only question, you may have shown it when you were doing your map work. Where's the generator on the map? I got the map in front of me if you just want to say it.
Yeah, there's a generator by the shed. So I guess there's a generator out here, Alyssa.
Yeah, it wasn't shown on the plan, but it's on site.
Okay.
And that would change the mitigation a tiny little bit too.
That would, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. Bill.
I'm all set. If staff is good, I'm all good with what next steps are on this project.
Thank you. Courtney.
So I'm in full agreement with Ron Bowman. I think we need a letter from an structural engineer certifying that a foundation is adequate to support a second floor. Number one. Number two, Mike, what penance are you proposing for the shed?
Well, the shed,
You get my drift. I mean, you built.
there's an
it's
existing
unpermitted.
shed that's 64 square feet of increased in impervious surface, because there used to be a shed there that was smaller, and that's been there for a very long time, that original shed that had been there a very long time. So we had an old plan that showed that shed because it was on the plan that we did when we did the bulkhead reconstruction. So we basically took a credit for the little shed towards the increase for the big shed, and the net difference was 64 square feet. So we're mitigating for the 64 square feet plus the other things that were.
So are you suggesting that a smaller shed that pre-existed, the other one was, I believe, before 1979?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Okay. As long as then that's fine. And then you're doing penance for the extra square footage. Okay. No other questions.
Thank you, Courtney. Steve.
I have nothing to add, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. All right. Is there any comments or questions from the chat, Jen?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. What is your pleasure?
Mike,
Well,
let me get to it.
I'll move to close the hearing and take it.
No, Courtney, we're not closing. We need a revised plan. We need Mike to go
Okay.
do the
Oh,
salt
okay.
marsh.
So we're going to continue this.
We are going to continue. Give me one moment to find a date for Mr. Borselli.
Okay. Sorry to jump the gun.
It's okay.
Okay. No.
I
I was
got you,
jumping
Court.
on too, Court. So
I got you both.
I was hoping we could
Gotcha.
close, to be honest.
That's funny, Mike.
I don't
Mike,
know why
the
it's funny. I think we could do it.
Courtney tried.
Can we take a straw poll on that?
No, you may not. Mike, how about the 17th? Would that work for you? Or do you want the 24th? The 24th, I think, is getting.
Yeah.
You want would the 17th work? Would that give you enough time, Mike?
I think I'd like to take it. If I need to further continue with.
Yeah, if you need more
I will,
time, just
but,
let us know, Mike.
I'd like to try to get you a revised plan by then.
Yeah, I think the 10th is pretty full, so
Yeah, there's no way on the 10th. Yeah.
yeah, so let's shoot for the 17th, and if you need to bump it out another week, let us know.
That's September 15th.
17th.
September 17th, Courtney.
Okay. So I'll move to continue this hearing forever or the 17th, whichever comes sooner.
Driscoll second.
So we have a motion and a second to continue. Any other comments or questions by the commissioners? Hearing none, I will call roll. Courtney.
Bird eye.
Steve.
Pat and I.
Ron.
Driscoll aye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, I.
Dave.
Anti.
Bill.
Duffy, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. Unanimous. We are continued until October 17th. Thanks, Mike.
September 17th.
September.
What did I say? October? Jeez.
Yes.
September.
I think
September.
Courtney said December.
Or forever.
Or forever. Okay, next one up has been continued. That was 58 Westwood Road. So that brings up Chappaquoit Associations, care of Dick Bossy, 20 Associates Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to reconstruct the existing stone revetment along the western side of the wharf. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm putting Mr. Borselli back into attendees. I am promoting Raul Lizardi of Cape and Islands Engineering to present this project.
Good evening, Raul.
Good evening. For the
Hello,
record,
Raul.
hi. For the record, Raul Lizardi from Cape and Islands Engineering, representing the applicant, Chappaquoit Associates, for this project. With your permission, I would like to share my screen.
Please do.
So this is the USGS map of the locus for this project. And most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with Chappaquoit Island. And Chappaquoit Island on the north west corner, jetting towards the north, is what the neighborhood calls the Big Pier. It's a stone pier that jets into West Falmouth Harbor, and in tandem with a jetty that is off of Little Island is kind of like the gate between Buzzards Bay into West Falmouth Harbor. From an aerial image, this is what that pier looks like. Associates Road is that way, and this is the easement or way. There's an actual way to get to the pier. The pier itself is on this property, which is 20 Associates Road, but there is an easement over that portion of the pier that is on that property for the benefit of the association. The pier is one of the oldest licenses that I've been involved with. This license dates back to 1891.
Wow.
When that wharf, and it was called a wharf at the time, was proposed, it was proposed as a T configuration. And the T has a core of granite cut stones. And then on the westerly side, on this side, it has a pile of stones to protect the pier. So this project was, this application was filed as a notice of intent to re-permit or to allow the reconstruction of the stones, not the pier itself. To our knowledge, this pier has not had a major reconstruction of the stonework. I have been involved in the past and through prior commissions in Falmouth for improvements to the concrete cap of the main pier and to improvement on kind of like introducing some mortar on the south side, on this side of the pier, to kind of seal the pier. I was also involved when this existing dune was kind of filtering through the pier and the sand was disappearing and coming over to West Falmouth Harbor. There was a project that was done to expose the stones that are located underneath that dune and add some concrete to kind of seal the voids that was allowing the sand to migrate from the north or from the west to the east side, and having the dune kind of develop into some sinkholes. So those projects were in the past. What we're doing now is the reconstruction of the actual stone. And I would like to share a couple of photographs of what that stone looks like. So I met on site with one of the contractors that is likely to do the work, CF Briggs, and I know that's one of the questions that staff had. When we met on site, what we found is that most of these stones that make up this face or the outwardmost layer of stones are kind of on the small side. There are a few larger size stones that is the typical size that we like to see, but most of them are on the smaller side. And what this situation has caused is that when the sands at the bottom of this stonework kind of leave the site and over time come back. Some of these stones have been shifting, falling off of the revetment, and in some cases, some of the fall off have actually rolled over to the east side in that direction and have collapsed or broken up some of the piles that hold up the timber pier. So those type of repairs have been before prior commissions for repairs of those components. So what we want to do is, I believe for the first time, the reconstruction of this outer layer. The reason I keep calling out the outer layer is because the core of this wharf or this pier, the cut granite stones, are mortar in place. There's concrete with them. So if I switch over to the cross sections, this is what we call the core of the pier or the wharf. There is concrete that kind of connects these stones together. So one of the things that we don't want to do is remove those stones that are cemented in to not affect the stability of the pier. What we want to do is remove the outer layer. What this revetment does not have is a proper toe stone. Similar to a revetment along the shoreline, what we want to do is bring in 10-ton stones and set them into below the grade all along the length of the site. The site in question is roughly 170 feet from this section to this section. All of this work is happening within the coastal beach, land subject to tidal action, land under the ocean, land containing shellfish. We did have an eelgrass survey done. Eelgrass was found, and it was mapped on the plans to the west, and then to the east down here. No work is proposed on the east side of the pier. All of the work is proposed on the west side. I met on the site, like I said, with Sea of Bricks, who is the contractor that we believe is going to be taking on this job. And one of the alternatives that we're looking at is doing this work by barge. Mm-hmm. They expressed that barge construction of this would be very difficult. It will be limited by the tides and also by some outcrop stones that are in the area. So the preference for this work is to do it by land. The one section that may still be done by barge is the installation of 4 piles that we designate for holding up a siltation boom. So these piles, we call them out on the plan for the purpose of calculating areas of disturbance in land under the ocean as timber piles. But they could be either 4-inch steel pipes, they could be I-beams. The whole purpose is just a temporary installation that will hold the silt curtain in that location and protect the sites or the area outside of the work zone. What the contractor prefers to do is to temporarily build a flat road with the stones, the existing stones and the new stones that we're bringing in that will be used for the toe stones in this area, just slightly above the high water level. And we have this detail here that shows this 14-foot section of built up stones to just get access along the side of the wharf and to do the work that is needed. We want to keep it 5 feet away from the existing concrete pier itself to avoid putting too much pressure too close to the pier. And eventually what we want to end up producing is a better and stronger protection for that pier. This section that I have in the square area, this is the section that was approved and licensed back in 1891. So this was the core wall with the cut stones, and this was the rock revetment that was protecting that wall. For access, because we're choosing to do this this project by land, we are proposing to use the existing way. It is a 25-foot wide private way, but the entire width of the way is not cleared. In the past, there's been mitigation for other activities along this sides. However, we do need to expand on the width that exists today from the lawn to actually get trucks in and out and get a loader and the excavator to do the work. Not only do we have to remove approximately 800 square feet of existing native mitigation plans from prior permits, we actually have to traverse over this dune. Now, the equipment that is going to be going back and forth is going to be bringing 10-ton stones, and it's going to be a very heavy operation. What we do not want is those equipment or those machines to be traveling too close to the existing concrete ramp. So at this point of the dune, we're widening it a little bit to a width of about 30 feet at this location. If I show a couple of pictures of what this dune is looking like, this picture down at the bottom, this is the area that we intend to use to access. What we intend is to level out the bumpiness of the dune, use some of the sand that's here and just pile it on the sides to allow us that greater width just to get into the beach. Once we get into the beach is clear enough and wide enough that the stones can be piled on the beach and the work can commence to build the temporary road and then to reconstruct. The reconstruction, once the road is in, will be from seaward in. So as the new revetment is being constructed, the temporary access road will be removed. The stones from the access road will be the stones to be used for the reconstruction. So what we do here is we propose to restore all of these areas that are being disturbed. The 800 square feet of native mitigation that were planted by prior permits and the entire area of the coastal dune, which is noted on the plan as roughly 1,300 square feet. One of the comments from staff was to get elevations of the dune to kind of rebuild the dune in kind. We can agree to issue a revised plan that shows spot grades along the dune. Now, I will say, looking at the picture from the dune, this dune, I remember 10 years ago when we were working on some of the repairs on the spear, this dune was lower than the top elevation of the concrete. So the dune is actually building up. Something we don't want to do is to build it too high and suddenly, naturally, the sands will just fall over and spill over to the east side. But we can agree to get some spot grades of the dune to kind of recreate or kind of rebuild the dune somewhat in kind. Now, we do have the dune delineated at this location. So the majority of the dune is actually beach grass. So it's American beach grass. All this yellow color that I highlighted on the plan. A portion of the dune is actually shrubby plant species. So we intend to replicate what's there. We do quantify the shrubby species. We quantify the area that is dune grass. So we intend to replicate the same areas once the project is done. Along the right-of-way, there are several items that will have to be removed to open the width that is needed to access. At that location that I just circled, there is a gate with two granite posts that will temporarily be removed, reset at the end. Along the eastern side, there is a row of boulders. It's always been there. It's been shifted around from time to time when other activities are taking place. But some of those boulders will be removed and reset. One comment from staff was, is any of the trees proposed to be removed? Now, this site and this access has been used in the past for this type of vehicles and equipment to access the beach and do work. So we don't expect any of the trees to be removed. There are a couple of branches that may have to be pruned off just to get the trucks and what have you get through the site without breaking off the branches. A question from staff was also how the temporary piles will be driven. They will actually be driven We do not expect jetting here. Those who know the site, this is a very bony beach. There are boulders in the water. So jetting, I don't think is going to be a system that's going to be advisable for this. Driving the piles or the I-beams or pipes, whatever the contractor chooses to drive, I think is going to be impact driving for that purpose. Another question was what type of machinery is going to be used. On the pier itself or on the temporary this temporary stone road, there's going to be an excavator. That's the one that's going to be carrying the stones into position, build the revetment. Bringing materials to the beach, it will likely be a loader, a front end loader, and some dump trucks, and also to shape the dune that will be by a loader. A lot of the restoration of the plantings, there's going to be some dump trucks that are probably going to bring some of the plantings. There's going to be some pickup trucks and some hand tools, maybe some hand-operated machinery, just to install some of the shrubbery that is needed. Installing beach grass, that's fairly simple. It's done basically by hand with hand tools. So there's not much needed equipment for that process. There was a question about, has there been any other alternative to access the site? If I go back to this overall plan, because I didn't have an overall plan. Those who know the site, this whole edge or shoreline is practically a revetment. There's just stacked up stones. The shoreline is littered with natural outcrops, stones all over the beach. So access through all this is almost impossible by the stones that are on site and also by the tides. Access from this side, it's not possible. This side is almost all the way underwater up to about that point on the pier. And jumping over the pier just to get to this same location, it seems impossible. And the option of by barge, the outcrops that are out on the water, and tides, it kind of makes it a little difficult and also time consuming to try to achieve this using a barge, solely a barge. So the methodology that we propose, I believe is the best approach. And I hope this commission finds that is the case. Another item I would like to point out, just off the northern end of that revetment and pier, there is mapped habitat areas for endangered species. This file was sent to MISA, an application was sent, and we did receive a response, and they determined that this project will result in no take of habitat for endangered species. One of the questions also that I did not touch on is who will be the contractor. No contractor has been assigned yet, but I believe it will be CF Briggs Marine Construction. They are the ones that have done some other work. They are the ones that I met on site to review this project and the methodology. So I believe that will be the contractor who eventually gets this project. Another question is how long this project will last. I didn't actually get that answer I didn't ask the contractor that question, but based on other revetment projects that I've been involved with, that are roughly 200 linear feet, we can expect about 4 weeks for this project to take place. The landscaping restoration or the restoration of the plantings will probably take place within a couple of weeks. And if there's any questions, I'll try to answer.
All right, thank you, Raul. Jen.
Yes, Raul, thank you for touching on each of the questions. My main concern actually is the dune. I'm not even too concerned with the roadway you have to build to get out there. We've seen that before. Russell, Courtney, Steve, you saw a similar design when they went out to do the knob. They were going to build a road to get out to the knob and then work their way back. One question I have on the piles to hold, I'm assuming it's a weighted silt boom.
Yes.
How are you driving? What machine are you going to use to drive the piles? It's to stop the silt from getting and impacting eelgrass beds. If you're building the road before you put the silt boom up, it's not going to work. So how are you
So
getting
yeah,
out there to drive those piles?
so like I mentioned, the one item that would likely still use a barge, it will be that
Yep.
process. It will
Okay.
be to drive the piles. And they may
Drive the
not be
piles.
piles, they may be pipes, they may be
Pipes.
I-beams.
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay. The dune. We do want to see the spot elevations on the dune. That dune with the ton of rock you're bringing in and storing there. Is there another staging area that you could use to store that material? Maybe down where Associates Road meets Chappie Road, that turnaround at the end. It's not too far from your site. It wouldn't be, it's not too far. The site's not too far into the island where those loaders would be going up and down Associates. So was that area ever looked at as a staging area?
It was not. Truthfully, we believe the amount of beach that we have here, is enough to hold the boulders, without interfering with the rest of the work. And most of these boulders will be used in the temporary road. So the process here will be to bring the boulders to the beach to build the temporary road. And as the revetment is being reconstructed, the road is being deconstructed.
No, I understand that, but so you're going to where are you storing the boulders prior to building the road?
On the beach.
Let's see. And how long are they going to be stored on the beach, Raul?
So I estimate that this is about 4 weeks of work.
No, I mean before they start building the road.
So the boulders are intended to be brought into the site as the road is being constructed.
Okay. Right.
So this is a 170 linear feet of new toe stones that are being brought in, 5 tons toe stones. So there's a lot of trucks that are coming here delivering stones.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, the impacts on the dune. You kind of glossed over the dune about, oh, we're gonna somewhat in kind put it back. This is very particular fine material out there to source this type of sand. I know that we did a dune restoration for a violation in West Falmouth that has that nice fine white sand, and they have to source it from New Jersey. Where is the sand going to be sourced to rebuild this dune? Because
So
you're
when
not just going to be able to, with all the tons, you just said there's going to be tons of trucks, literally tons of stone on this area. It's going to be kind of flattened.
So when I was explaining the access through the dune, so we
Yeah.
go from a 15-foot width to about a 33-foot width. So
Pretty
as
big.
the access is being leveling out, the sand of the dune is being pushed to the sides. So that 33-foot width of the dune is being used to pile the sand of the dune. The same sand is the one that is going to be used for the reconstruction of the dune. I don't anticipate new sand being needed here. Now I know you mentioned fine sands. I did do some augers on the beach when I was doing this design. The texture of this sand is actually medium to coarse sands, and it's actually pebbly. After a certain layer, there's even a cobble layer. So I don't know if it's at a greater depth, it switches over to a fine sand, but at least where I was doing my soil borings, I was not encountering fine sands.
I understand that. I'm not talking about borings, Raul. I'm talking about if you show your pictures again, you can see the nice fine sand. We're not going to want, cobbly sand rebuilding that dune. Do you need the 32 feet width? I mean, you're going down 15 feet just fine down the access way. Why fan it out when you get to the dune?
So as you come off the actual 25-foot easement way, We want to veer away from the pier because we don't want the weight of this equipment too close to the concrete pier. So the two sides of that 33 feet is going to be used to pile the sand that are being shifted away from the dune to open up the 15 feet in the middle. So we'll pile the sand from the dune on both sides of the access to the beach.
Okay. And you said you don't have a contractor who's going to be restoring the dune yet?
So it would likely be the same contractor that brings over the loader, because the loader is likely the one that's going to be clearing up the path over the dune.
And that is Briggs? Potentially?
Again, there's no contractor assigned yet, but that is the contractor that I've met so far.
Okay. Here's my concern, Raul. I don't have you don't have a qualified contractor to restore the dune. See what I'm saying? I mean, the revetment is one thing, but to restore the dune and everything else, that's
So
what my concern
there's no
is.
contractor yet for any of the tasks that we're asking for. But if the condition is that a qualified contractor be engaged for the restoration of the dune, we can accept that condition. But at the moment, we don't have a contractor signed up to do the
Well,
work.
as long as the applicant will accept the condition that we're going to have approval over who redoes that dune, that's fine. And you don't expect the trees to be removed, but they might, because you're talking about front end loaders and very large machines and okay. I mean, it's going to be a very impactful project. There's no doubt that area is going to be impacted. So we just want to make sure that once the project is done, the area is restored as close as it can be to what it was before the project. So
Right,
that's my concern.
Like I explained before, there's been heavy equipment that's been accessing this site in the past, and the access way has been restored. The vegetation that has been put back actually thrive in this area, in these conditions. So we don't expect the vegetation is going to be difficult to regrow. But yeah, we do understand that we have to restore it.
Okay. So I think we're just going to have to put in very specific conditions, Mr. Chairman, about how we want this dune area restored. I mean, that pier does need to be redone. I mean, Raul said he's been involved many times on small repairs. I don't know how many times I've been involved on small band-aids to that pier, and it does need to be redone. I'm just kind of concerned about the dune. Vegetation, so much the shrubbery, not so much, Raul, but just that dune area. But we can put in conditions to make sure that it gets restored. Thank you for answering all the questions. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jen. Alyssa.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
All right, Ron Driscoll.
Yeah, a couple questions. One, is there any time of year restriction on this due to anything that's out there due to the dune construction, due to the plovers or fish or eelgrass or anything else?
Not at this time, Ron.
All right. And second, is there a warranty for 135 years on this project, Raul?
No, I'm sorry, but what's there has lasted over 100 years.
Yeah.
So I
Well, now
think
you're
this is
a
going to
new
be better.
engineer. You got new techniques. You got all the big stones. I think 200 years might do it.
Yeah, we also have Mother Nature throwing out bigger storms.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thanks. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Ronnie.
Thank you, Raul. I think you got the path of least resistance for what you're doing there as far as access. And I understand the concern of the dune. My thing is the elevation of the dune, with that spilling over onto the east side. So I think that we should be at or below that level where it is now when it's finished. That's my concern. Other than that, I think we should push forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. All right, Steve.
I have no questions.
Bill?
Yeah, just one sort of comment. I know you're probably going to be already using a barge for part of the project. Is the reason why you can't use it for the entire project is going to be the size of the barge to do all the work would be prohibitively higher, and stones, because if you already have one out there, what's preventing the entire work to be done by barge?
So right. Like I mentioned during my presentation, the 170 foot more or less of new tow stones that are being brought in, that's roughly some 30, 35 stones, and one barge will not be carrying that many stones. So the barge, even with 10 of these stones, the barge will likely be drawing 5 feet, so it will be bottoming out. And just to get to that location with the barge, with all the stones that are in the water, it will be very treacherous just to get there. So the contractor did not feel comfortable with that. Now, a smaller barge just to drive in the piles, those barges don't draw that much. So those will just be there, drive those 4 piles and get out the way. They can easily do it during a high tide period without problem.
Thank you, Raul. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. All right, Court.
Yeah, could you share your screen again? I've got a couple of questions on the thing. You could pop it up just so we're all talking about the same thing. And that's perfect. The cross section of the what it was 1890 or whatever it was approval. You notice that the rock, it seems, unless it's a problem of scale, the rock that was designed there, it seems to extend further out from the mortared section than what you're proposing. Is that problematic?
So I will switch over to the plan view because maybe it will be easier to illustrate here.
Yeah, okay.
So what we noticed when I was on site and I mentioned that I was doing my own soil borings, that plan from 1891 showed that this stone was actually built through the entire length of this pier.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted to find out is if I do a hole at this location or I dig a hole in this location, am I going to be hitting stones? I found out that I was not. I dug myself a little test pit here about 3 foot deep, and I did not hit any of these stones. I did another one in this location, and I did not. Now, I do know when I worked on the dune 10 plus years ago, when the dune was scraped off, we did find stones here.
Right.
So one of the things that we want to do, and we reached out to DEP Waterways, is that this is a licensed structure from the 1890s, and they say so long as you don't project any further than the existing row of stones, the kind of like the water side most extension, then they'll be fine. And so that's what we're doing here. So even though what was permitted kind of resembles something much larger, it may not have been what was constructed. I know for a fact that it wasn't constructed per plans, but we just want to stick with the footprint that we have today.
Okay, now if you could go back, I'm sorry. If you could go back to your plan for a second. You not the cross-section view, but the overview, yes. So where that beach is, yeah, essentially in that area, I don't see a row of stones, continuing from the buried stones to the actual thing. Is that right, that area, and maybe on the other side, is that going to be problematic down the road?
So what we have noticed is that when this wharf was licensed and proposed and constructed back around the turn of the century, this beach did not exist. So the shoreline was a straight bank all along here. So this has been building up. We don't suspect that this is going to change. We do know that as seasons go, some of this sand kind of goes into the water, and then the season retreats and the sand comes back. So we know that process will still remain. So I think protecting this corner over here with additional stones is not a problem, just because it hasn't been a problem over the past, I guess, 100 years.
No, I don't want to make more of it than I have to. So my final point, because it's we're going late here. One of the things that we used to condition for these projects, so you're going to be using a lot of hydraulic equipment down on that beach, back and forth. And we all know that there's a potential for hydraulic lines to burst. And in some of the projects we've approved in previous years where you're bringing down equipment like that, we've required that the hydraulic fluid be like a vegetable oil. And I think that's something that we should condition. Okay. And the other part of that goes to where is this stuff going to be stored when you're not in use? In other words, you work out there with your machinery and then it gets to be nightfall and time for everybody to go down to the local bar. Where's this equipment going to be?
Yeah, fair enough. One of the conditions that I believe is adequate for this project is that no equipment will be left on the revetment, on the beach, on the dune, and it will be transported back out towards the beginning parts of the easement or the way. So all the equipment gets moved out. And something that I did not mention, but it is part of the plans and part of the narrative, is that the contractor said they can use this 14-foot width mats all along the entire length of the way, so that kind of minimizes the impact and rot lines that going back and forth over this access easement will do. But yeah, all the equipment to be conditioned to be removed from those resources at the end of the workday.
Okay, you've answered my questions. Thank you. It's a detailed project that requires a lot of detailed planning, so hence my questions.
Thanks, Court. Steve.
Dave, you muted.
Oh, the David Steve. Right?
Sorry. It's one of these remarkable projects, 1891. I don't know where the other side comes from, but the pier appeared to be in good condition. I appreciate the association addressing this. I think it's an important tool for the harbor. I am worried about the width of the access road, but nobody else seems to be. So I imagine you can navigate down a road like that. If you could put a 14-foot mat down, I think it would be. I'd find that amazing that you could find the 14 feet. But if you can do it, that would certainly take care of a lot of the issues that I was concerned about. So that was good to throw that in at the end, Roel. I couldn't imagine you had anything more to add, but there you go. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Jen.
I think Dave has his hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, Dave, did you have another question?
Yeah, one more question came out. Sorry to go out of turn, but we all know that with sea level rise and things and storms, you mentioned yourself, the storms are getting worse. Is this being rebuilt overall to previous strength, or is it going to be stronger to handle future climate conditions than it was before?
So right, in terms of stronger, the reasoning behind the stronger reconstruction project we have here is the first two rows that we're proposing. The toe stones are much bigger than almost 90% of all the stones that are there, and that will be the foundation. Right now, the lowest stones that are there are on the surface, on the surface of the bottom of the harbor. So right now, when the harbor loses sand, those stones sink. The new toe stones we're proposing to drive it in. It's going to be below the grade. So that's acting as a foundation. So if the sands kind of retreat, that stone will stay there unless there's a major storm that takes away 3 feet of that sand. The second row is also a larger stones, and we're going to be using some of the larger stones that are there. And then the reconstruction of it, we're going to prioritize the bigger stones. So in that sense, I believe it is a much stronger structure than what was there. And one of the things we're kind of reshaping the height that we understand was originally intended. If you all remember the 1890 cross section, it showed that the top of the actual pier itself and the revetment were at the same height. That condition is not there today because the stones have been slumping. Independent from the main core, the top of the stones are not all at the level of the concrete, so we're reaching that same height. Well, this is not really a difference, but one thing that we are noting on the plan is we want a rough surface. You often see revetments that are kind of like smooth paved angle surfaces that do not break the wave action energy. So one of the things we're doing is we're calling out this to be a rough surface. The existing one is still a rough surface, so I won't say that this is a positive change, but we're still keeping that rough surface.
It sounds to me like that 130-year number earlier. This sounds fairly reasonable. No?
I don't want to say that.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Jen, any comments or questions out of the chat?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. What's your pleasure?
Are we comfortable closing it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay, I'll make a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Driscoll second.
So we have a motion and a second, motion from Courtney and a second by Ron to close the hearing and take it under advisement. Any other comments or questions before I call the roll?
Oh,
Okay, hearing none. Courtney,
Bird eye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Anti.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
and Robbins is aye. So we've closed this hearing on 20 Associates Road. Thank you,
Thank you.
Raul.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Ralph.
Hi, Raul.
Thank you, Raul.
Yep, nice job. All right, next up is Mark Stowers, trustee, Stowers Realty Trust 2 at 106 Lake Lehman Road, Falmouth, Mass. for after the permission to install a shed, generator, deck, and to install associated mitigation planting. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have promoted Tom Bunker up to present his project. Good evening, Tom.
Yep. Good evening.
Um,
Good evening. Raul was a hard act to follow. He did a good job there. A lot of questions that he took well. Yeah, so for the record, my name is Tom Bunker with BSS Design. We prepared this plan for Mark, I believe it's pronounced Stowe's.
Stowe's.
We're not proposing any construction, but we have this is to mitigate. It's called a mitigation calculation plan. It's to mitigate for past increases in coverage. So I will share my screen now, if I may. And you see the screen here?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I have dual screens here, so I couldn't quite tell. Yeah, so on Lake Lehman Road, you have this property at the end of the road. It fronts on the east side on Little Pond over here, as you can see. And this house has been there for a long time. There was a plan done in the 70s or 80s, which showed the existing conditions of that time did not include this shed, and it had this, was called a greenhouse. The property got sold. The current owner now has put up this shed, increased the size of the deck that's it's a raised deck, sort of on top of a low greenhouse, and the deck that connects to the house there and the generator. So you have all of this added coverage. The property is in a flood zone up to elevation 14, and the property goes up and levels off some. We have a coastal bank that runs right along here, 50-foot setback from a coastal bank that borders a wetland. Zone A includes basically all of the lot. So being in Zone A, it's triple mitigation. And you have the calculations here. There's a total of 287 square feet of increase between these items here. Triple that, 861 square feet of mitigation, which I've put down along here in the closest area to Little Pond. There I called out, well, they require 4 feet on center, 54 to 62 plants. Called out sort of in the rows parallel to the contours, some groundsel down below elevation 3, right along the edge of that. I believe there's groundsel growing in this area already. So I had a little more of that. And then suggesting also beach plum, inkberry, winterberry up on the higher elevations here. The staff report suggested we add a tree. I talked with Mark Stows, and he said he's fine adding a tree to this. If I could suggest that at the time when planting comes, if we don't have to decide on the location, the species at the moment, we could do it at that time, which I hope to put in this fall. And so we'll see which of these plants they can get. I think there might be some substitutions, but whoever's doing the work, Mark or someone he hires, will get a planting plan approved by staff. And at that time, they can look at the tree and which tree and where it goes. So that's what we're doing.
All right, Tom. Thank you. Jen.
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we'll start off with Ronnie.
No comment.
Dave.
Sorry about that. It seems very straightforward. No comments.
Bill.
No comment, Mr. Chairman.
Courtney.
I have no comments. I mean, I think you've covered your ground, Tom. Although tonight's word is penance, there's some after the fact stuff that you're getting approval for now. I'd like to see another tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's my only comment. Other than that, I think it's good.
Okay, Steve.
No comments, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Good plan.
And Ron.
Yeah, Tom, you're going to keep access to the water? Somewhere, is it marked on there somewhere?
Yeah.
Well, it's very up at the northeast corner. There's a little bit of sand.
Yeah.
The lawn is very near that sandy corner, so we're not planting in front of it. And I think if anything, that's where they would or do access it now.
All right. Thank you, Tom. That's all. Nice job.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron. Alyssa, did I skip over you on this?
That's okay. I have no comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jen, is anything in the chat?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
I'll
All
make
right.
a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Driscoll second.
Okay, we have a motion to close in a second. Any other comments or questions from the commissioners? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Courtney.
Bird eye.
Steve.
And I.
Ron.
Driscoll aye.
Bowman eye.
Dave.
That time.
And Bill.
Duffy, aye.
Thank you. We've closed this hearing on 106 Lake Lehman. And thanks for correcting me on the pronunciation. Stows. Mark A. Stows. All right, moving on.
Good night, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, Tom. Moving on, we go to Seth Adams, trustee, S Pond Realty Trust, 265 Thomas B. Landers Road, Falmouth, for after the fact permission to install a patio, generator, retaining wall, and 2 sheds, and for permission to install associated mitigation plantings. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this application is being continued until September 24th.
24th, okay. Can I get a motion to continue?
I'll move to continue until what, the 24th?
September 24th.
Fiscal second.
We have a motion and a second to continue until the 24th. Well, no other comments or questions? Hearing none, I will call a roll. Courtney.
Bird eye.
Steve.
Pat and I.
Ron.
Fiscal eye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Dave.
Can't I?
Bill.
Duffy, aye.
And Robbins is an aye, unanimous. We continued on 265 Thomas B. Landers until September 24th. Next up is Nathan Holcomb, 270 Sipawissa Road, Falmouth, for permission to demolish an existing deck, remove an area of gravel, and construct a screen porch, deck, and garage. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have Mike Rosello of Falmouth Engineering and Angela Tanner with Crawford Land Management to present their project.
Welcome back, Mike. Angela, hello.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Mike Borselli, Falmouth Engineering. I represent Nathan Holcomb, the applicant. This is a continued hearing. At the last hearing, we made our presentation. We had requested that the previous application from 2019 be entered into the record. And for that reason, staff wanted to give you more time to review those documents so you could be up to speed. So the project was already presented. Staff has some revised comments that are in the staff report that you've received, and I don't know if there's really much more for us to do except be available for any further questions.
All right. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I was not actually at the last hearing that this was presented at. Alyssa, do you feel comfortable recapping to the board, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So the last time that we saw this project, it was a revised plan because we had updated BBW data sheets that were recently done on the property. So just so we have a updated view of where that wetland edge is. It was just acknowledged that yes, there are newly planted trees on the property. There was a slight change to the composition of mitigation, but it's still being proposed in the same general location. We did continue the hearing so that I could send over the information from the 2019 filing. In relation to that, the staff finds that this project is different in terms of where that mitigation should be proposed. We don't need to go through all that again. I'm sure everyone's seen the materials and read the letter that the homeowner has sent in recently, but that'll be up for the board to decide.
All right. Thank you, Alyssa. And Dave, why don't you lead us off?
Excuse me?
Dave,
Yes.
why don't you lead us off for questions?
Oh. I have no questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bill.
I can clarify the quorum too while we're here.
Oh, okay.
It is Courtney, Ronnie, Ron, Russ, and Steve.
That's why I was unprepared.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Sorry
then
about
just
that.
to jump in, I think the issue was that some of the mitigation is being proposed in existing invasive areas along the wetland, and that's usually not what this board does. The mitigation needs to be planted in open areas. And it is being actually proposed in previously vegetated areas. So I guess the staff's position would be that the mitigation from basically more or less the wetland the wetland flag LEC2 clockwise to LEC6, that area of mitigation be relocated in the lawn area. Just, am I correct, Alyssa?
Yeah, I didn't check the points, but yes, that's the
Yeah,
general
looking at the
concept.
plan. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jen. Sorry about that. Courtney.
In light of that, I think we probably should, I mean, my opinion is we need to continue it till they fix the plan the way we want.
Okay.
But
Steve?
that's me.
Oh, sorry, Court. Steve.
I thought they had moved in that direction. Could the staff clarify that? Has this any improvement over the previously discussed items?
More or less, it's still the same proposal to install mitigation in currently vegetated areas. That's what they're proposing.
Mr. Chairman, if I could
Yeah.
make a comment.
No, Mike.
I don't know that there's a need to continue the hearing. I think you could easily make a condition that we work with staff to place the limited amount of mitigation required in areas that are open. If to continue it again just perpetuates this for no reason. I think I've seen you close an issue with conditions on other projects that are very similar. I think it can be worked out with staff if you make it a condition.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I could continue?
Yes, Steve.
Why, thank you. I also believe that we could probably write some conditions that would find a way to get this project done. And I'd be willing to close this.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Ronnie.
I second Steve. Thank you.
Was that Ron?
That was me. I was seconding
Okay.
Steve. Yeah.
We're on that. And Ronnie, you were on this quorum too, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Steve. I think we can put this to bed with conditions.
Okay.
May I make
Yes. Go ahead, Court.
I hate to be a curmudgeon on this one.
No, you don't.
Seriously, because we asked them to revise the plan. They didn't revise it the way we wanted. So I think we should continue it, get them to fix it right, and then they can come back to us. I'm sorry because that maybe delays our business, but I'm grumpy on this one. Small issues I'm fine with. We can close it and fix it, but why didn't they get this thing right this time? Then we wouldn't be wasting our time. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I can answer that.
Yeah, I could too.
Simply put, we don't agree. And if you don't agree with us, you have the authority to make it a condition.
So I will move. I'm going to vote against it because then it can be continued till you guys get in agreement with staff.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I make a motion to close the hearing?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Steve to close the hearing and take it under advisement, and second by Ron Ballman. Any other comments or questions by commissioners? Okay, hearing none. Jen, any in the chat room, please?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so I'm going to call a roll. Courtney.
Bird, no.
Steve.
Patton, yes. Aye.
Ron.
Fiscal aye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. So by a vote of 4-1, the hearing is closed.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, Mike.
Night, Mike. Night, Angela.
Good night.
All right. Next is 42 Chase Road. We've already read that. That got continued already? Dave Flaherty Environmental Services, 84 Old Dock Road, Falmouth, Mass, for after the fact permission for the installation of hardscape and for permission to install associated mitigation. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I am assuming this Dave's phone is Mr. Flaherty. I'm going to promote him as a panelist, so let's keep our fingers crossed here. And then, Mr. Chairman, I will be sharing my screen for Mr. Flaherty. Mr. Flaherty, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
Okay. Do you have a camera on your phone, sir?
I do. Do you want me to fix
great.
that?
Yes,
Yeah, if you
please.
could, please.
Okay, how's that?
There you go.
Perfect.
There
Thank
we
you,
go.
sir.
Thank you very
And
much,
just
Jen.
I'm going to start sharing your screen. Just 1 second,
Okay.
Mr. Flaherty. You're going to see an email from me wondering where you are, and then I finally figured out you were Dave's phone. So
Okay.
ignore the email you got from
Okay.
me this evening. And Mr. Chairman, if you give me 1 second, I will share my screen for Mr. Flaherty.
Very good.
Everybody see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I will try to point the cursor where you'd like me to, sir, so go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Jen. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. For the record, David Flaherty for the applicant at 84 Old Dock Road. The property owners had previously installed an at-grade patio without permitting. And it's roughly 550 square feet, provided a landing area for the main entrance. The patio is within a 100-foot setback, but greater than 50 feet from the resource areas. All construction was hand dug and no machinery was utilized for the patio. At this time, they'd like to install a pergola proposed over the existing patio area. The pergola is not enclosed, and materials and specifications will be submitted for a building permit, and footings, probably small sonotubes or diamond footings will be hand dug. Resources are delineated and confirmed by the Falmouth Conservation staff to the east. You'll see where it says approximate edge of wetlands, and to the west as well, there's the edge of a salt marsh. To the south, there's a ditch that drains out the wetland to the east to the salt marsh. And also there's a coastal bank there, but we feel that any impact of any potential velocity from waves will be mitigated by the existing road that's there with corresponding road drainage, stormwater drainage. Let's see, what else? Upon notification of the staff, the homeowner wishes to correct this oversight by proposing remediation plantings with a 3-to-1 ratio, approximately 1,650 square feet. And all plantings will be native species and approved by the conservation staff. Generally, the best construction practices will be 6 inches on center for all the plantings. That can be either increased or decreased, whatever the conservation staff requests. Species will be the highbush blueberry, arrowwood, winterberry, and sheep laurel. And if staff recommends any additional species, we'd be glad to entertain that. We'd like to keep a 5-foot path behind the mitigation planting area for any future remediation of invasive species. There's a pretty good stand of Phragmites back there. That's not included in this project, but just for potential invasive species control. I guess, we've gone back and forth with this plan to make sure everything's on it that you'd like, but if there's, I guess I'll defer to staff on their comments at this time.
All right, thank you. Jen?
I'm going to stop sharing, Mr. Chairman. Actually, I'm going to keep it up for 1 second.
Okay.
Just this little bit of patio will just be removed so we can condition that. And then there was some ivy that was removed, and within the 100-foot buffer of the salt marsh over on this slope here, and we would like it conditioned to be some native shrubs. Bring some of that wildlife habitat back. So, but those absolutely can be conditioned, and I do agree that there should be some sort of mow strip behind the mitigation, because it is a pretty large stand of Phragmites that will just overtake them. So providing that mow area behind it is something we've seen in the past. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jen. Alyssa?
Nothing to add other than the quorum, which is Courtney, Ron, Russ, and Ronnie. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, could I make one more comment?
Yes.
I believe staff wanted to have some of the patio removed. I'm wondering if, because that driveway is all paved, maybe there could be a corresponding, I don't know, 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio of the impervious driveway removed and replaced with crushed shell, and so they don't have to take out any rows of patio. Would that be something you'd consider, or?
It is moving closer to that top of Coastal Bank, Mr. Chairman. That's right on it. It's but that's something you can talk about in deliberation. It is a very minor area, but again, this board has required somebody to move 1 step before, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I understand.
So, but Mr. Flaherty, that's something that they absolutely can deliberate.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem.
All right. Court?
No questions.
Ron?
No questions in this. Thank you.
Ronnie?
No comment.
All right, and I've got nothing. So that was the 4, right? Ronnie, Ron, Court, and Russ, correct?
I'll make a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement. Oh, I'm sorry. I went out of order. You gotta ask if the peanut gallery has anything to.
Nothing in the public chat.
Thank you, Jen.
And
You're
Driscoll
welcome.
second the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Close the hearing, take it under advisement. I'm gonna call a roll since there's nothing else from the commission. Courtney?
Bird eye.
Ron?
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
And Robbins is aye. So unanimous. We close the 84 Old Dock Road.
Thank you very much for your time. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Dave.
Good night, Dave.
Bye.
All right, hearing under an enforcement order. Hearings under enforcement order. Susan and Maurice Ryan, 32 Squibnaka Drive, East Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted installation of a retaining features and hardscape, potential regrading of a coastal bank, and clearing within conservation jurisdiction. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The resident is requesting a continuance until September 24th. I did meet with her. They were a bit confused, and so we provided them with all the old, and they were fairly old documents attached to the property. The original bulkhead, dock, and house. So we felt it was appropriate to give the resident time to absorb those documents, and be able to regroup and address the board at a later date. So they are aware of it. They did respond immediately upon receiving our letter, and we will be helping them through the process.
Fair enough. Thanks, Jen.
When do you want to continue it? When are you proposing?
September
September
24th, Courtney.
24th.
So I will make a motion to continue this till the 24th.
Driscoll second.
So a motion and a second to continue September 24th. Any other comments or questions by the commissioners? Anything from chat, Jen?
Nothing in the public chat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I'll call a roll. Courtney,
Bird eye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Anti.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
and Robbins, aye. That's unanimous. Continued till September 24th. All right, next one, that 41 Mary Manuel Way was continued earlier. Continued hearings under enforcement order.
Is that 41 Mary Emanuel Way, that's not the one we approved last week or 2 weeks ago, right?
No, that was
No,
40 Manuel Mary Way.
No,
It's
it's
across the
40.
street.
Across the
Yep.
street. This is the one that's been there for a while and he went towards the wetlands. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome, Herb.
all right. Continued hearings under enforcement order. 58 Westwood Road LLC has been continued. We read that one off earlier. The next one is Joseph G. Marisola, trustee, Joseph G. Marisola Revocable Trust, 2018, 15 Moses Road, Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted enclosure of a rinse station in a velocity zone. Jen.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I promoted Mr. Marizola up to address the board. Alyssa, you want to recap what this enforcement matter was about?
Sure, thank you. Yes, I believe that we had continued the last time so that the commission could go out and view the property. As noted, staff had determined based on a site visit that the existing rent station on the property had been enclosed. The property was recently subject to an order of conditions to rebuild the house in the velocity zone. The rent station was always proposed to not be enclosed, and thus it was not included in the proposed square footage of allotted space with breakaway panels in that V zone. So the staff is recommending that this commission require the rent station to not be enclosed. However, if they were open to additional possibilities, considering that the sailcloth was unsuccessful at this particular site, we would recommend that the applicant file an RDA so that you guys can see a proper application for perhaps some sort of retractable panels or something of that nature that could potentially work on this property. Yeah, that sums it up.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Mr. Chairman, I have two quick questions. Was sailcloth actually attempted at this site?
It was.
When?
When?
Mhm.
That was the end of May. I want to say May 20th, May 19th, something like that.
And Alyssa, do we have photos of the rinse station? Do we have photos of the property after that date that does not show the rinse station?
I don't think I have follow-up photos. I have photos from compliance, which was a couple of weeks prior.
Okay. So after you were granted compliance, sir, you built the rinse station?
So we've had the posts up the entire time because they were intended to anchor the I don't know, my installer described it, the turns and buckles with the screws that the sailcloth would be affixed to. So we've always had those posts. That's what shows in the pictures. We never intended to put the sailcloth up until we actually needed it because I knew it just wouldn't withstand the wind over the winter. So we put it up right before we moved in mid to late May.
Mhm.
It did not last. And I explained to the commission, you weren't here last time. It was Saturday, May 30th. I remember the date very specifically. We had 70-mile-an-hour winds clocked in Woods Hole, and that's the day that it ripped and canoes were flying around the neighborhood and people's umbrellas and everything else you can imagine in that area. So we take very high prevailing southwest winds right on our face. The sailcloth just acts like a kite.
Okay, and how much enclosed space do you, because I remember your original hearing, sir. How much enclosed space did the board allow you when you built the house? Because I do remember there was some back and forth that you really wanted more enclosed space than the board was willing to allow, and they made some allowances to allow you to have that enclosed space. And I don't believe the rent station was actually proposed to be enclosed on that original plan.
That's correct. I don't think we got more than we should have. I think we've got the maximum enclosure. So it's 200 square feet, I believe.
Alyssa, can you clarify that from me?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, we never got more than we were supposed to. We basically maxed it out. I think what you're referring to is there's almost like a nook, like a three-way enclosure to keep one
That's
side of the
exactly,
house
yeah. That's
complete.
exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not enclosed.
Okay. Um. Okay, Mr. Chairman, usually the board likes to see additional, I don't know, in this case, the enclosures are maxed out at 200 square feet. I'd have to double check this one. But it was not proposed with the original hearing. So
Well, yeah, we intended to use sailcloth. I mean, we were on board with it. It's not going to work for just where the high winds we get, and we're just facing the tunnel of between Cutty Hunk and New Bedford. So I don't know if
I know
any,
exactly where you are, sir. I mean, we have multiple properties that are on Buzzards Bay, Vineyard Sound that face equally high winds. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Jen. Thank you. So Mr. So you said 200 square feet? That's an awful big shower enclosure. I mean,
no.
No,
What
no,
she's
no.
referring to is the the vestibule and our storage room.
Okay.
Those
Okay.
were, I believe you're allowed 200 square feet, and I believe those equal 200 square feet.
Now I see it. Okay. That really freaked me out. That was one big shower.
No, this shower
Yeah.
is, I don't know, maybe 30 square feet, 20.
That's about right.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Okay. Courtney, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, I understand his dilemma. I live in a equally exposed area. So, and one thought, is perhaps you could design some kind of retractable panel that you would get your enclosure when you needed it for privacy purposes, but then those panels could be retracted and be protected. They wouldn't become flying objects and wind, that kind of thing. I mean, I'm kind of thinking out loud. I appreciate you need a solution. And that's kind of where my head would go with this, but I guess we're not supposed to design your project.
It's not an easy solution. I appreciate that.
No, you get what I'm getting at, though. I
Yeah.
mean, in other words, you've got sailcloth. We're trying to avoid as a permanent enclosure. So, but sailcloth takes off in the wind. If you've got, removable panels that slide in and out and attach to those posts, so it gives you the privacy, that's fine. If you got a really high wind or anything else, or when the winter time comes, you take them out and put them in storage, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. If there's a way to do that, I would work for me.
Yeah. Thank you, Courtney. Steve.
I don't have anything to add.
Ron?
Oh, one of the things I thought we spent some time on, we delayed this for a couple of weeks, was someone to come up with an engineering plan, not just really come back and do this again. Again, Courtney's been thinking about it. I've thought about a couple of things. I'm not an engineer. And Mr. Mirzola, have you had anyone try and design something for you without using a permanent structure like it is now? It's I saw it the other day. It's a beautiful rinse station, one of the nicest ones I've ever seen. But
well, we built it so it wouldn't become a problem.
Right.
if anything causes that rinse station to, break apart, as I
I'm not
mentioned
worried.
before,
Yeah,
there's
I'm
gonna
not
be
worried about
houses in
that
water.
rinse station breaking apart. I'm worried about why we've just spent 2 or 3 weeks
Yeah.
and no one's come
I-
up with
no.
any idea of what to do about it other than Courtney throwing out the top of his head, put a retractable panel up, you know?
Yeah, no. So I wasn't aware that I was supposed to come up with an engineering plan. No one asked me to do that. But I have spoken to my builder and I mean, we could get a plan, but I think I think Courtney has the only rational decision is the way he explained it. And I'm not an architect or an engineer, is you could basically build it in 3 or 4 panels and there would be hooks on the post. The hooks would be permanent. They'd be like stainless steel. And there would be notches in the panels where it could be basically slid on and slid off. And we would, put it up in June and take it down in September type of thing. I don't, aside from that, I think that's the only, route to go, or breakaway is the only route to go.
Okay. Well, at least you've got some thought to it.
Yeah, I've had
Okay,
my
that's
builder
fine.
out there and we've contemplated, ways to get it done, and I think that's really it.
Well, again, if I have one more comment, I suggest we'll just leave it in place until October 15th. You take the thing down, and next spring you put up what the new engineering thing is after we approve it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ronnie.
just to
Ronnie.
follow up, whatever arrangement and I think what I'm hearing, and I'm suggesting that you need to have your builder or an engineer design this, bring it in and, to resolve this, design it, bring it in and have us run it by us. But I think whatever it is, it's something that if there's gonna be a hurricane or whatever, or the winter time, that you've got to be able to take those things down and put them where they can be secure and don't blow around.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to come up with a design and run it by us.
Okay.
Right, Ronnie.
Jen, you have your hand up before I speak.
Who?
Yeah,
Jen,
I
a
just
hand up.
want to, I brought the I brought the plan up. The plan, the proposed site plan. Reduced enclosure size, The site plan that was proposed, states open air rinse station under. It was
Okay.
never proposed to be enclosed with anything. It was maybe not in your mind, Mr. Marizzola, but what was proposed to be to this board was an open air rinse station.
I've read
It's
sailcloth.
right on the plan.
I wasn't here for the original, but I can tell you I was on site today and it was well constructed. I saw a half dozen other rinse stations in that neighborhood that a 40-mile-an-hour wind could blow over, so I don't know if that his original can be amended to what he has there now. And I think if you had a hurricane, the stairs would come off before that rinse station would. As far as engineering something, the only thing I thought of was putting PVC sleeves in the ground and putting some pipe up through the 4x4s and dropping them in. But whatever you guys want to do, but I think we need to get this going forward and closed to a.
There was never any 4x4s proposed. That's what I'm saying. It was proposed to be an open air, like originally, I guess when, just a,
You wouldn't- you
what do you
wouldn't
call
have
it?
any
A spigot or a shower head out of the wall. That was what was proposed to this board.
In my order of conditions, I believe it actually states sailcloth.
It might. But it was open air. We gave you the option of sailcloth. So what I think this board is saying is that find another option if sailcloth isn't working.
That's it for me.
All right, thanks, Ron. Dave.
It's clear that seems pretty clear that the project is not done as originally permitted, so. I think that's important to this committee, so. It's an issue, so.
Bill.
Yes, given all the comments, I would probably recommend sort of continue this and give us something that we can permit, and then go from there. Those are my comments.
All right, Courtney, one more time?
Yeah, I mean, what you'd have to do is file an amended permit with a design that,
Courtney, the project's been closed out.
oh, okay. Would you accept an RDA or do we need a whole notice?
You could probably accept an RDA, but if the staff votes a positive on it, then we're back to a new notice. Mr. Chairman, may I share a screen, please?
Yep, absolutely, Jen.
I just want to clarify something.
Mhm.
This is one of the revised landscape plans. Sorry, I'm sharing my screen. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this says 7 times 16. Correct?
Yep.
So 7 times 16. So that's the size, just the size of the enclosure.
That's the storage room.
Yep, 7 times 16. 7 times 16 is 122 square feet. That is in addition to this, which is a little larger. So, Mr. Marizzulo, you said you didn't get any more enclosure than 200 square feet, and it appears that if this is 112 square feet, this might be just as much. That's a
So-
little more than 200.
Yeah, so I said, don't quote me on the 200. I went to the maximum allowable by you guys and the building department. I didn't get any more or less than,
Oh, I did. Okay.
as far as I was aware.
I
mean,
do remember
don't-
this hearing. I think, Mr. Marizzola, the board expected a little bit more from this hearing from you, as far as design goes. So what I would suggest is going back to your builder, coming up with some sort of design for this board to consider. Or as Ron said, we can take the whole thing or take everything down, and prior to you putting anything else up, next season. Mr. Chairman, how would you want to handle this? Do you want to just keep rolling this down, or?
I think there's been some good suggestions here by members of the board here about some sort of design. I don't know if, do you need an engineer? Could you sit
No,
down
a builder could.
and lay the thing out with hooks with measurements, some detailed drawings? I think from what I'm hearing is that's what the members are looking for.
I think a builder or any other type of professional could come up with something. I don't think we need to contract an engineer. I don't think Tom needs to get involved with this.
No, and again, it sounds like that's pretty much what the board's thinking about here. The commission's thinking. Yeah, so and I was kind of expecting something a little more too. Come in and show us. Even if you show us a picture of what you did. I've been there. I saw it myself. I agree with Ronnie.
I apologize.
Really nice.
Miscommunication. I thought you guys were going out to the site to look at it, and I was.
We did. I was there. I've personally seen it twice.
I know you were, and maybe I was hopefully. Maybe I was unrealistically hopeful that you guys would, see the area, as someone else on the call said, like, look at everything else that's 100 years old around it and say, well, this isn't the problem, because it's not. I mean, the town approved a dock in New Silver Harbor that constantly floats away down the street in every high tide.
Mr. Marizzola, we're not talking about the dock. We're talking about a velocity zone in your property. Let's not talk about anybody else's.
So again, I think we should kick the can down the road here. And if you could come back, just sit down with your builder.
Yep.
And come up with a design. Show us something. I like the removal panels. I really do. I think that's a good idea. And then the end of the season, you take them up, you store them, You don't have to worry
Sure.
about it.
Yeah, I would prefer it not
Right.
be up all winter as well.
And
So
and I would think you could adjust what you have there to do something like that. I don't know. Ronnie's a builder. I don't know. And Courtney's was a builder, and so
You can
Yeah.
definitely do something with what you have there to
Yeah.
take the panels out.
and I think yeah.
So,
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, why don't we continue this out? Where did the schedule go? Excuse me, guys. I don't know where my old.
I know. I did the same thing. I put everything on.
Mr. Marizzulla, why don't we give you about a month to confer with some professionals, see what you guys can come up with? Would that work for you?
yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm going to get my builder on it right away, and I know he wants to do some other work there with the steel, doing some cross braces and stuff. So, I'm sure he'll be.
Yeah, I'm really having a hard time, Mr. Marzullo, with I don't see any posts, any steel beams, or anything on the architecturals, the landscapes, or the site plans. All I see is open air rinse stations. So, I'm struggling with this one, but we'll see what you come up with, and we'll see what I can research on this hearing, because I do remember it quite well. Would October 15th work for you?
I think so. I have to ask the
Wait a minute,
builder.
what's today's date? Oh, the 27th. How about
That's
which
that's 6 weeks. That should be more than
no,
enough.
yeah, I know that's too long. Let's go with the 24th. September 24th.
Sure, I'll ask my builder if he can prepare a drawing, along the lines of what Ron and Courtney had in mind with the removable panels and hooks.
Hey, maybe we can come up with something better. So, put
Yes.
his mind to it.
I'm hoping for something better.
Yeah.
I don't. We've thought about it long and hard. So
Can
I
I
think
ask a
that's gonna
quick
be the answer.
question?
There's always a plan to be.
Sure, Court.
What will be the square footage of the enclosed area?
Of the shower.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is it going to be 4 feet by 4 feet, 3 feet by 3 feet?
I will get that in the drawings. I don't have the current dimensions of the
I
shower.
mean, what do you envision? When you did the sailcloth, how big was it?
We never, yeah, whatever's there. I wasn't really worried about how big it was going to be. So
Because it was supposed to be open aired, Courtney. It was never supposed to be posts or anything. It was open aired. And there was sailcloth.
you guys approved posts, and there was sailcloth was mentioned in my order of conditions.
Yeah,
So,
there's a special condition.
yes.
Oh, I know. I saw it. It said it could be enclosed by sailcloth, but I'm looking at the architecturals. I am looking at the site plan, and I am looking at the landscape plan, and I don't see the posts for the rinse station. That's what I'm saying.
What's there is about 25 square feet if you're looking for square
Okay.
footage, Courtney.
Yeah, I'm struggling to understand how sailcloth would be attached without posts.
No, I just want to know when
Struggling
if
to
you
see
enclose
how
it, how
wide.
big is it? How much area
Yeah,
taking up?
we'll get a detailed drawing with dimensions and as much detail as we can
Yeah,
provide.
please, as much. I mean, and again, at some point we'll have to make it a little bit stronger than that, but just give us something.
The
we
reason
can
I'm,
work on
let me
this.
just
I
say this,
think there was some good ideas. So
Mr. Chair, the reason I'm saying this is I'm trying to be mindful of the square footage requirements of a closed space.
Yep.
Okay. And so that's why I'm asking how big this is going to be. And if it's tight on a closed space, I would make it big enough for one person, 3 by 4 or 4 by 4, but nothing big. I don't want to see an enclosed space that's 4 by 30.
Yeah, it's nothing. I think with the posts already there, I think we have to keep the current footprint, but this is only going to be enclosed. I mean, I'd even be willing to have a condition where it's specific months. I don't know, call it, Memorial Day to Labor Day. Like, this is not a full, I think what we're going to bring back is not a permanent enclosure.
Yeah, I understood, but it's still, we still
I'll make
have
a motion to continue this hearing till now, September 24th.
Thank you, Ron.
thank you, Ron.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion to continue until September 24th and a second. I'll call the roll. Any other comments? Anything in chat, Jen?
Nothing in the public chat,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Nothing.
So I'm going to call the roll. Courtney,
Bird eye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Yeah, aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
and Robbins is aye. Okay, Mr.
Zula, we'll see you back on
We'll
September
see you.
24th.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Vote amended orders of conditions. Black Beach Harbor Head Association, 139 Little Neck Bars Road, Falmouth, Mass. Jen?
This is an amended order to remove, I had it up and I lost it.
Four conditions.
Got it. A couple of the special conditions in light of the settlement agreement that was negotiated with the town and the neighborhood, that this board did agree to, and sign. So we'll be removing special conditions 3 through 6.
Okay.
Make a motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed. Driscoll.
Bird second.
So we have a motion by Ron Driscoll to issue as discussed, second by Courtney. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Courtney,
Bird eye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Bill,
Duffy, aye.
and Robbins is aye. All right, second is Benjamin Carroll, 357 West Falmouth Highway, Falmouth, Mass. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is another amended order. And this was to, Melissa, we're reducing some features on the property.
Yeah,
Yep.
reducing the size of the house, eliminating the pool, relocating the garage, and thus reducing the mitigation, but spreading it out over a larger area.
Any comments, questions?
We did require a revised plan. I believe we already have received it. I'll double check.
Okay.
And Eliza, wasn't there discussion with ECR that we were going to go out and look at the vegetation once all the herbaceous material had died back?
Yeah, and determine
Because
if
they were using the same amount of mitigation shrubs, placing them in a larger area, which increased their spacing size. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
okay.
very hard to determine how it was doing because all of the herbaceous material was nearly overpowering it. So we'll need to see how it's doing in the fall.
Okay, does the board want to create more of a meadow with that herbaceous material and tighten the spacing of the vegetation, or is the board fine with a larger spacing with the shrubs over a larger area? This site was a tough one because it was completely abandoned and overgrown, Mr. Chairman. So it's not like we're dealing with like lawn area or something. They had to go in and like remove all of the invasives and everything that had just completely overtaken this poor property for years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, what is the staff looking at? What would you tell me?
I'm just worried that the herbaceous layer, like we've seen in other projects, is going to outcompete these smaller shrubs. Alyssa, you were on site.
Yeah, I just think it was all done too fast. The invasives weren't properly under control prior to planting. And it's questionable so far. So I'm not sure what the process would be to reduce the amount of herbaceous material. I mean, we certainly wouldn't want them to go in there and trim, kind of in and around them. So I'm not sure if something can be done over the winter. but we're not quite there yet.
We can put some language in, Mr. Chairman, about managing the herbaceous layer, maybe tightening up the spacing in certain areas and then monitoring it. And if it doesn't do well or grow into the buffer that it should, that they are going to have to supplement it with other shrubs. I'm fine with that. We can come up with a condition.
I like that language. Yep.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right.
I'll make a motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Driscoll second.
We have a motion and a second to issue an order of discussion.
Amended order of conditions.
Amended order of conditions as discussed. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Courtney?
Bird eye.
Steve?
Pat and I.
Ron?
Driscoll aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Holmes, aye.
Bill?
Duffy, aye.
Robbins is aye. All right, we've issued an order of conditions for 357 West Falmouth Highway. All right, anything else from anybody?
No, please.
Thank you all really for your patience tonight. Kind of a cluster in the beginning, but smoothed out.
You know what? We'll work with IT. There's got to be another way. There's got to be a way they can give us a breakout room that's going to make it much easier for you guys to go into executive session.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be seamless when we had, our own tech support and they had everything and they worked with everyone. Since they did away with our specific Zoom tech report support, it's been a little rougher, especially with the executive sessions, but we'll work with IT. I don't anticipate one coming up, so.
Zoom should have a function that lets you get into a breakout room fairly easily rather than
Yeah, I know. We had talked, Bill, to our IT department. They were just the IT person was just getting up to speed with Zoom, so we're gonna have another conversation with them and say this is not working. We need a breakout room.
Yeah, I mean, if I can make a quick observation, is that what happens is when you try to go back in using the normal protocol, all of a sudden you get kicked into email and you have to roam around through a thicket of stuff, and before you get in,
Make a motion to adjourn.
it's
I'll
confusing.
second Pat in a second.
Anyway, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye. Driscoll aye.
Aye.
Duffy, aye.
Robbins is aye.
Bird eye.
Thank
We're
you.
adjourned.